To start with, yeah, how are you finding the whole isolation thing? I mean, it's got to be pretty mad that you just obviously moved to England and the first thing you get to do is stay indoors and not see any of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit strange. I think, for everyone at this current time, it's really strange. But this is kind of the start, that I've kind of had to have. But in saying that, I feel like you've just got to embrace like what's going on and make the most of the situation. And I've kind of felt like it's been a blessing for me. I just feel like I've had no off time or a rest from football probably since I started going overseas. So I'm actually really enjoying it to be able to give my body a rest at the moment.
But what is it like? Because obviously must be the first, like you say, this is the first time you're not playing football in forever. Like, how is
Yeah.
it feeling to literally not be playing with a ball at your feet at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. It's just something I've never experienced before. But I mean, as I said, like it's nice to have a different routine almost. I can get up and do things on my own accord. I'm not
Mm.
following a schedule. And at the moment, I'm just still enjoying that to be able to do something different. But in saying that, I'm not sure how much longer that will last before, I want to be at, training again. But in saying all of that, if they were to turn around and say, all right, we're back on, we're training tomorrow, I mean, I'd be buzzing.
What has been the communication like with the club? Have they been sort of like hot on it? Like, how did they break the news to you? How's that been?
It's strange for me because when I came back from international duty, I actually, before this all happened here in the UK, I had to go into lockdown anyways because, well, self-isolation, because I'd come from, a different country and that was just the policy put in place. So I've actually been in lockdown already before the actual lockdown started. So that was obviously in place for me first, and then when the whole country went into lockdown, it was just kind of communicating what's going on. And the club's been amazing in all of this. As I mentioned about me having a rest as well, that was something I voiced to them, especially once the Olympics got postponed, because that was kind of my driver to want to train and the bigger picture. And then once that got postponed, I guess I just went completely flat. And it was almost like, what am I training for when,
Sure.
I could be having a rest right now? And I voiced that to them, and, they agreed with me and thought it was a much needed rest and supported me in that. But, everyone in the team's kind of in different places. Some girls are coming back from injury, so they have their rehab programs, and then obviously the other players, it's kind of, there's a program to follow, but it's almost in this time it's so difficult as it is. They're supporting everyone in what they need. If they want to follow the program, follow the program. If not, they're kind of giving us the freedom to do what we feel is needed in this time, which has been really nice.
What is the program they've given you?
We got a lot of things delivered. So we have weights and kettlebells, and we actually got spin bikes dropped off the other day. To everyone, so to keep it kind of the variety there. But yeah, the program's still in line with what our training week would normally look like. So there's running, there's a 5K run, just kind of a build up one, and then upper body strength, and then the next day will be a 5K time trial with lower body, and then an off day, and then some on field running, upper body, lower body again. They're just kind of, and then like conditioning where you can do your bike or, whatever you feel's needed. But yeah, they've set up an app as well, a Strava app, where, everyone's times can go in to keep it kind of competitive as well. They're just kind of keeping a lot of variety there to keep it, not boring, so to say.
Are they keeping tabs on you? Are they strict on it all, or are they relaxed about the whole situation?
They're very relaxed about the whole situation. I think, as of now, it's out of everyone's control. We're not too sure when the league's going to start up again. So I think until we know that, you can't really plan to when we're going to return.
What's it like where you're living and stuff? Are you like, is it the type of thing where if you're spinning, the neighbours will hear you?
It's actually, I live in a building where I'm the only one that lives here, but the floor below is a business, and they own my flat, but there's just one lady working in there at the moment, and I've kind of been thinking, I wonder if she's thinking, what the hell is she doing up there? Because, between doing weights and like HIIT workouts and TikToks at the same time, I think she's probably thinking, what's she doing up there?
Do you cook at home and stuff? Did you cook mostly, or do you order out?
In this time, I've been cooking all my meals, which I've been enjoying because I'd been on the road, a lot before that with national team, and it was always eating hotel foods, and it's just been nice to be able to cook my own meals and have home cooked meals.
While everything's on hold, it's kind of like, do you see the opportunity in it in terms of like from like social media and all that sort of stuff?
Social media is almost what's keeping everyone, entertained and getting everyone through this, and I think it's giving fans and stuff, and even athletes and everyone else, an opportunity to be able to show almost their personality a little bit more as well. It's football's taken away from us at this time, but it's more chance to be able to show who you are as a person, I guess, as well. And I guess just keeping each other entertained at the same time. There's almost no excuses to you're not busy. You have the time almost. Everyone's at home doing the same sort of thing.
Have you found yourself doing any like picking up random hobbies or anything like that, or have you just been doing TikTok?
I've taken a new approach. Just kind of my workouts have been things that I would never normally be able to do, or with our training programs, you'd never after training come home to do another workout. It's just not what you do. So I've actually been enjoying putting like a YouTube workout on, just like a HIIT workout or an ab circuit or whatever, and just copying someone on the screen and keeping it interesting, doing things that I wouldn't normally do before. So between that and then I'll go run when I feel like it. But TikTok has been a big time killer for me.
Have you been watching a lot of movies and stuff as well, or like apart from training, what have you been spending your time doing? I've
been catching up on a show that I was watching back home called Married at First Sight. So I've been, staying on top of that, and I've got a Nintendo Switch here, so I play online Mario Kart with some of my friends as well. How's your dog in that anyway? How's your boxer dog? How's your family? Yeah, she's good. Every time I FaceTime Mama, I see her, but they've been all right. She's probably loving it because, that's my mum's got to take her out for a walk, to get some time outside, so she's getting spoiled, but they're all well and keeping healthy, so hopefully it stays that way. Have you been keeping up with the rest of the squad? Have you been chatting to them much? This time's actually been kind of nice for me as well, just to, I feel like the whole team is close in general, but I haven't been here that long, so it's been difficult for me to, make connections with people. But I think if anything, this time we're all here in the same city, and I've gotten to know a lot more of the players throughout this time, and I think it's nice. I feel like I actually have a connection with people as well. Like one of the girls, all we do literally all day is send TikToks back and forth. They're like not all the ones that we like upload, but we just do other ones as well and send them, and that's been like a connection that we've kind of made just through TikTok, which we wouldn't have that if we were just training kind of thing. Yeah, so how's London treating you apart from this? Like how is it? How have you settled in? I was actually just saying this recently. Obviously, the 2 weeks I had before international break where I got to play my 2 games for the club. I think just, this environment and being a part of almost, I think this culture as well, it's very similar to home. And as I mentioned before, the team feels really close, and, the game against Chelsea in the final that obviously we didn't win, it wasn't the result we wanted, but that's actually the most fun I've had playing in, a couple of years. So, it was almost like coming here made me find my love for the game again. What was different about it? I don't know. I just kind of, as I was saying before, I haven't really had a break throughout my career, and I think it just got to a point when I was going to the US, Australia, that it was just almost, I was looking at, well, this is my job. It wasn't like the enjoyment was almost lost. And I think I just was looking at it like, well, this is what we do. We go back and forth. We don't have an off season. That's just how it is. And, you know, I think just from doing that made me kind of lose my love for the game that I originally started playing for. So I don't know if it was just the change of environment or a new culture or what it was, but yeah, I think it's just the training here, the quality of the players, the sessions, being, you know, treated like a professional as well. It's just, I mean, I've been loving everything about it so far. So, you know, it's kind of shitty how, you know, this has all happened when, you know, I was just kind of finding that again. But I think when I go back, that's just going to straight away come spark back, if not more, because, you know, I've had even more time away from the game now.
That's what it's like anything, right? It's like when you get trapped in that repetitive cycle of anything, even if you still have that love for it, it just takes that shine off it. It takes that sort of that love away slightly. So I suppose when you just need a complete new start, and I suppose starting in one of the best, if not the best league in the world, it's always going to spot that love for it again, right?
I think so. I think, you know, just the way that the English way is, you know, to play football, and I feel like, you know, at times I might have got lost at some of the places that I was playing at, and, you know, I think now it just feels like a good fit for me almost, that, you know, has made that spark come back, and, you know, the love for the game. And as I said to you before, you know, feeling like such a close team, makes you want to work harder for your teammates in the club. And yeah, I think that's just kind of what's been missing. And yeah, I guess it's all just kind of come back at once.
You must have obviously like watched the Premier League and that sort of thing when growing up. But to kind of like have your name now like associated with like such an established like brand in the Premier League, and then you step into that kind of like that new level of professional world, and the women's game in the UK getting so much more eyes and attention, and being treated like professionals, like superstars really, hopefully more and more so. Does it sort of like, is that part of all the excitement as well?
I think so. I think, you know, you can say to anyone that, you know, doesn't even follow football, if you mention, you know, that I'm playing for Arsenal, everyone knows who you're talking about, and, you know, instantly excited. They don't even need to know how well the club's doing or anything, just everyone knows that, and, you know, knows England for football. So yeah, I guess it has given it a little bit more spark as well. But yeah, I think just the new challenge as well, and coming to this team, I literally didn't know anyone. It's almost like you want to prove yourself as well, and you have to prove yourself to, you know, earn the respect of your teammates and the club as well. So I think it's just, you know, the new challenge that I've kind of needed. Europe was an option that I haven't done before, so that was something. And, you know, deep down, I really did hope something would come up from in the UK, just because I felt like if I was going to go to Europe, that's where I would want to go. And with the league, as you said, growing and getting better, it was definitely somewhere that I would want to be. It was almost like it felt like it was meant to be, that it all just fell into place.
How does it all differ, like, from obviously your first a few months in the UK in comparison to sort of like a lifestyle in the States? Is it a big change?
I think the biggest thing for me is just the weather. It's, you know, it's not something I'm used to, the coldness of how it is over here. And I guess like the muddy pitches when it is raining. And my first 2 weeks, it was very cold, and, you know, the pitches were muddy. And so my first session, I made the mistake of not wearing studs. I just had normal molds on, and I was slipping everywhere. So, and I had all my layers pretty much that I could possibly have on. So it was a bit of a shock at the start, for sure.
Once the season gets back in place, do you have any goals or milestones that you want to hit personally?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just kind of, as I said before, I just want to almost, I guess, prove myself. And, you know, I wanted to come into this team, and it's already such a, you know, a powerhouse club, and there are so many amazing players. It's just, I would just want to focus on my role for the team, and, you know, being able to give my best in that. And, you know, obviously being a forward, goals are nice, but I don't almost want to put a number on it, because I feel like you put pressure on yourself then. It's just, I know I play my best when I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, I think my goals are just being, you know, little goals for the games of the role that I need to do in that game and focus on those. And I feel like all the other stuff just happens when you're enjoying it.
It's fair to say that you put out like a good kind of like brand image is kind of like the wrong words, but you're kind of like, you can tell that you're like across social media and stuff like that, you're quite conscious of what you put out and you've got good taste. How much does sort of like moving to the UK provide that opportunity to kind of like explore new experiences and stuff like that as much as anything else?
I like to enjoy myself, so I guess, you know, I've noticed like when I do something, you know, continuously, as I've mentioned with, you know, workouts and stuff like that, it almost gets boring, and I like to keep, you know, it a lot of variety almost. But, you know, I think coming here with the change, but looking forward, you know, playing for one club and having one season and having an off season and things like that, I think that was a big drawing point to me as well, that's something that I haven't had before, and that's something I can see, you know, myself doing. And I know I've only been here 2 weeks, but like I could see myself being here a long time if obviously the club would be willing to have me, just with everything I've experienced so far and in such a short time. There's
things like Fashion Week and stuff like that, and when you've got players like in the team like Leah Williamson, Jordan Nobbs, you know, again, quite, you can tell they've got an appetite to want to do more and more in that sort of like fashion space and that kind of thing. Do you see yourself sort of like getting in with that kind of crowd and that scene? And obviously you got Hector Bellerin on the men's side of things as well.
I mean, I do. I feel like I take a little bit extra pride in my fashion as well. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I just want to be myself, and you know, where that kind of takes me is where it takes me and what way it leads me. But as I mentioned before, all the girls are really close, and it's such a close team that, you know, I feel like eventually I will have a connection and a bond with other players. And if it is with, you know, Leah and Jordan, as you said, due to fashion, then that's kind of how it will be. But yeah, I guess I just want to be myself and see what happens from there. But yeah, as you mentioned with Hector Bellerin, we actually have team suits, which are his suits, which is pretty cool. And we had like a media day the other day where some of the girls were doing a shoot. It's actually on the Arsenal Instagram page, but they were doing a shoot with him in the suits, which was really cool, just to show, you know, that the club is one and it is united kind of thing. And, you know, he put his brand out there, but he made a point that he wanted us girls to have the suit as well. So I thought that was really cool.
Have you found like local spots and stuff like that yet that you've kind of like whether that's like home comforts, places you want to go get food and that sort of thing yet?
I have one cafe. It's actually my favourite cafe at home. They do like breakfast, lunch and dinner. There's 2 in London, so I haven't been able to go yet because of all of this that's happened. But I think, you know, if say I am missing home or Australian breakfast or whatever, I know there's one just in London, so I'm sure I'll probably hit that place up pretty much every Monday on our off day.
We're going to ask everyone that we do these things with to see, it might be different for you because you've only just moved in, but to show us something in the house that is pretty personal or you are pretty close, whether it's a medal or a memento or something like this.
So yeah, what I've got is, it's this book. I've had it since, I don't know, it's called a diary, but I've never really had a diary or anything like that. But I've had it since 2012. There's like questions and stuff like that, so it's not like,
what are the questions?
So it just always has a date, and then it says like your day was, and then it has like 3 different options. So like painless, a good lesson, not worthy, a penny, and then it says explain why. Taking it everywhere. Like I don't write in it all the time. The last time I wrote in it was the 14th of February, and that was when I was on my way over here. So it's just like on the plane, or you know the start of it, or maybe after a game, or I don't know. It's just like just random times, like when I see it, I guess, or if something happens and I want to remember that, I'll write in it that day. But yeah, I've had it for a long time. So, I mean, if someone found this, they would know a lot about me.
The second one was what we're going to do with people is to show us inside their fridge.
Lucky I just went to the shop.
Oh, really?
I've always got to have yogurt, like berries, eggs, sriracha. I got some juice, and then just veggies. There's like broccoli, always mushrooms.
Are there any treats in there? Any naughty treats?
This is what I've done. If I don't buy them, then I don't have them. I actually have these little chocolates when I moved in. My landlord put them in there, but they're really good. Salted caramel almond chocolate.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.